This episode of Turn Down for What is sponsored by Champion Chevrolet, your trusted dealership in East Tennessee. Champion Chevrolet offers a wide selection of vehicles, expert service, and unbeatable customer care. A big thank you to Champion Chevrolet for providing the vehicle for today's EV review. Your support makes it all possible. Ready to find your next ride? Visit Champion Chevrolet today or check them out online at championjc.com.
All right, well, we're here with the all-new 2025 Chevy Silverado RST. We had the luxury of actually taking this brand new truck on a road trip yesterday, and you can go on our channel and see that video with a day in the life of the Chevy Silverado RST. It was a tremendous experience, really the first time I've gotten to drive a vehicle with the range and the capabilities of this Chevy Silverado. So want to do a full overview of this truck and what it has to provide, kind of on a more detailed step now that we're not driving and we're in a stationary position. And so, yeah, starting with the front. Obviously, this is unlike the traditional Chevy Silverado. Obviously, Chevy went on a totally different path with this new release, and you see a totally different look, a different aerodynamic. It's kind of a hybrid between the Silverado and Avalanche. So the Avalanche has a similar style look from the side, but obviously this is the full-size truck. They've done a lot of detail on this truck, and it looks, honestly, it looks really cool. The imagery of the light bar at night is very prominent. Something that I've complained about in my F-150 Lightning that's a daily driver is the light bar. And this, when illuminated at night, and even during the day, I'll activate it now. Even during the day, it has a very prominent feature with the LEDs associated with it. Some really cool LED light fixtures, and have really given a prominent look day and night. You can see this light bar, which I appreciate. Illuminated badge, very cool front. Obviously, there's no grille like you would see in a gas-powered vehicle because of the fact that this is an EV. We'll tackle the Frunk in a minute. But kind of moving along to the side, the first thing that you see on the side profile is those massive 24-inch rims. I love it. You know, a lot of times in vehicles like this, it's the first time that the standard has been on these newer vehicles to see these 24s, but I mean, look at it compared to me. I'm 6'6" and it's up to my waist. These tires are. But yes, super sharp rims. The huge rims and tires just give it just so much more of a beefy look, and it just kind of gives it that tough look. You're seeing the Cadillac is going to have that. The GMC has the 24s, and that in and of itself just gives it a totally different look. Definitely appreciate that. Moving along to the side, obviously, this is the top trim model, and you're noticing that this does not have power lift boards, which is interesting. I mean, it's a choice. I myself actually prefer the stationary running boards, but those that are expecting power running boards, this trim model does not feature that. Kind of moving along to the back, like I said, you kind of get that different aerodynamic look. A lot of the older Silverados just kind of have the cutoff, but they did an aerodynamic touch to the back, kind of inset it in with the back side of it. Charge port is on the back left, just a standard CCS charging port. Big door. Looks a little easier to open and close than my Lightning did, but overall, you know, charge port being on the back left. I will provide this to be a general negative, this location. It's one of my few complaints about this vehicle. When you have the charge port here, one, you have to back up to charging spaces that are pull-up, which is, you know, its own trouble. But two, most of the times, you know, you think of people with trucks considering towing, and anywhere that's a pull-up space, if you're towing, you know, you've seen probably images of, you know, a F-150 with a trailer. They can pull up to a space. They may take 3 spaces, but they don't necessarily have to disconnect their load. Unless you are in a pull-through charging location, this will not work. You have to detach your load back into the parking space and charge and reconnect your load. So This is a negative unless you have a pull-through charging station, which, obviously is something that, is starting to come to the market. But as it exists in Electrify America and a lot of those other competitors, Electrify America has gotten some now, but Tesla, for instance, is pretty much all pull-up. Those setups, obviously are something to consider with this charge port location. Going around to the back, obviously this is a standard Chevy lift gate. There's going to be a button for dropping it, and it is power lowering, but on the lift side of things, you actually have to physically pick it back up again. However, it is the dual lift gate, so you can you have the first, and then you have the second step if you wanted to drop the second tier down. So gives you that full step, just like the standard Chevy would do. So a bigger step, obviously, and a less intense contraption than the Lightning's back rear gate, but that's nothing that's super special to this specific model. But interestingly enough, it does not have a power lift gate. In the back, you see in the back right here, I'll lift the tonneau cover just a little bit. This actually does feature charging or cable capabilities back here. You got your standard 120 outlets. You got one 240. Pretty similar to the Lightning in that regard. It is lit back here. You got tow hooks, and this one actually does come with a spray-in liner, which is nice. So this model as well also features the full back, the opening rear. I'm not going to do that immediately with this because of the tonneau cover being attached, but similar to the GMC review that we showed, it does have the same technology to open up the back window and expand your bed all the way to the inside. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the exterior. Obviously, it is a different profile and a different look, but overall, an impressive vehicle both at day and at night. And now we will move inside and take a look at the inside of the Chevy Silverado. We are inside of the Chevy Silverado RST, and like I said, we got to take this on a road trip yesterday, and it is special on the inside. Obviously a refresh on the inside, a lot of a really nice fit and finish as you kind of approach in. And so we'll take you inside and kind of take a look at some of the basic amenities that are featured in the Chevy Silverado. Sitting in the front seat, we're able to see the overall features of this. Obviously, you got your nice, comfortable steering wheel. This is a newer design for the Chevy, is this steering wheel design. My wife drives the Chevy the Tahoe, and you can see kind of what her steering wheel looks like. But this does have the black badging. Obviously, with this trim model, you're able to see the cruise controls on this side and the music controls and screen controls on the other. As you look into the screen on the center, you can kind of see some of the various pieces that are associated with that. Down here, you're able to see the range. These screens are controllable. This will show you the state of charge. This will show you the energy being delivered to the battery. And obviously, it gives you the full seatbelt count of everything in the vehicle. One of the issues that we had on our trip was identifying the efficiency, and I struggled within these screens to identify that. There are several modes within the different screens to look at, but with these buttons specifically, they were kind of difficult to identify how to best navigate to get to that function. But yeah, it's a good interactive screen. The steering wheel obviously has that Super Cruise built into it, which turned out to be a very nice and comfortable feature. This model specifically does also have the heads-up display. It is a 14-inch heads-up display. When you have your maps and data, there's a lot of data being displayed on that heads-up display. It turned out to be a quite nice feature. One of the things about this, the Silverado specifically, is with the Lightning, you have a high protruding screen and the dashboard sits higher. And so this vehicle, with everything being kind of recessed down and farther away from you, it does kind of give you a more open feel. It makes the front of the vehicle feel larger, but it does have a lot of functionality within the screens. Going over to the main screen, which is a 17.7-inch advanced color display, has Google built into it. There is a lot of functionality within this screen. You can kind of see at the bottom is all of the traditional AC buttons. You do have some of the basic controls down here as physical buttons if you did want to adjust it there, but also if you want to manually adjust those variables here, it is available. You do have heated and cooled seats on both the driver's sides, and the rear is only heated, but functionality within the screen, it is very interactive. You're able to access your maps and have good access through those. The drive functionality within this, I had a hard time when connecting my iPhone to be able to get the maps on my iPhone to communicate with this. I noticed that this model itself does not come with Apple CarPlay, and so that is something to note. I plugged it in and had it wireless, and I did not see that capability. That might be something that is only allocated if you set up your full profile, but I think that based on my understanding, Chevy was moving away from the Apple CarPlay setup, and in that you do have to manually punch in your address here, and there's no other functional phone screen that you could communicate with. But overall, the screen does have a lot of functionality, can look through the various settings. There is some drive mode settings that are available. Obviously, you just have normal, off-road, tow haul, and I will showcase this magic button towards the end of the video. They do give you some ability to put some shortcut buttons on this side. You do have your volume control here. It is a little bit of a ding because it is kind of far for the driver to reach this button. The Ford sits like right here, but this button is kind of far, if that matters. You can control the volume through the controls on the actual steering wheel. However, something to note. But yeah, moving down into here, you have the wireless charging pad. You have 2 USB-Cs, 2 cup holders, some storage, a little storage compartment here. The center console is a comfortable extension of some of the stitching and things that are on the dash itself. You do have the Silverado First Edition badge, which is a nice little touch on the inside here. And then looking inside here, you have a USB-C, plenty of storage space, and that is my NACS to CCS adapter. Overall, the front has a lot of comfort. There is the Bose sound system that is built in, good sound quality that is produced out of that. Nice, comfortable experience. You're able to see that sun and moon roof from here. I apologize, it's not a sunroof. This is nothing but a solid pane moonroof. Does not open. It is fixed, and there is no sunshade. So, I mean, it is a consideration being that it is fixed, but we found it to be convenient. You got a lot of natural light, but it is slightly tinted, so it doesn't inhibit the view of, like, it's not overly protruding when it comes to those things. So, all things considered, you have the rear view mirror that is digital. You can actually flip it and have a regular rear view mirror as well, but there is a digital rear view as well. So a lot less controls up here than the standard. There's no, like I said, there's no sunroof, so you don't have those buttons up here. So that kind of gives you a little bit more convenience there. But let's hop in the back seat of the Chevy Silverado and see what it has to provide. So I'm in the second row of the Chevy Silverado. But in the rear, we do have the same seat texture and seat style as in the back. Very comfortable, heated seats back here. There is no cooling on these seats back here, which is something to note. But the seats themselves are very comfortable, very wide, like a traditional vehicle of this caliber would be. Do have lower anchors on both sides for car seats. The 2 sides, and obviously in the middle, you do have the capability of having a cup holder and an armrest or a third seat, just depending on how you wanted to work with it. But overall, the leather seats and things are very nice on the inside, and a very comfortable drive experience from the second row. All right, so we're back outside of the Chevy Silverado, and something interesting to note about this vehicle specifically is it does feature an over 200 kilowatt battery pack, and with that also comes some compromises, if you will. This vehicle weighs almost 9,000 pounds, which is, in my opinion, one of the heaviest vehicles on the road, strictly because of the capacity of this battery. No half-ton truck, if you will, has this weight just because of the weight of this larger size battery. With that being the case, you see that it also comes with an 8-lug tire due to that heavy additional weight that's associated with the vehicle. The towing capacity of the Chevy Silverado RST is right at 10,000 pounds, which is a little bit less than some of the competitors, but right up there with what's expected for a vehicle of this nature. Payload capacity of this vehicle with its weight is about 1,500 pounds, which once again is slightly less, but this vehicle, with all of its glory, may not be considered to be your everyday man's work truck to toss a load of dirt in the back. You can if you want to, but I'd imagine this spec is going to be more of a pavement princess. Moving back around to the front, we get to the exciting part where we look at the Frunk. Now, as far as I can identify, I do not believe that there is any way to directly open this Frunk outside of the key fob or inside with the button associated with that. And so you double click the button on the remote twice, and that will open the Frunk, and we're able to see the inside of the Chevy Silverado's Frunk. In that, we have the mats obviously associated with this. The Frunk size compared to the Lightning is slightly smaller. It's less wide. However, for the storage of groceries or whatever the other unit might be, plenty of sufficiency there. You are given a plug, single, where the Lightning has a 4 set of plugs, but very functional Frunk setup. Plenty of space for a load of groceries if you chose to have that. Definitely a unique feature. It has the light, has this receptacle for those purposes, but a little less size and a little less power capacity than the Lightning provides, and yet for what it is have a lot of functionality. This one, the Lightning, gets all freaky if you pull down this, but with this vehicle you can either hit the button on the remote, or you can start to pull it down and it will actually recognize that you're trying to close it, and it will close on its own. So I do like that touch, is well done. So that is it for the Chevy Silverado RST. We will now take it on the road and see what it's like to do some of the basic driving of the Chevy RST. So we're inside the Chevy Silverado RST, and we are Silverado, and we are now driving it. And something to note is that in this drive experience with this trim model, it does actually have what in the Hummer they called crab walk, but this one, what they're calling is rear steering, which is where the rear tires will actually turn to assist with turning into to a parking spot or whatever. And so that does really significantly help with getting into tight spots. It helps with the turn radius because those wheels are assisting. So it is a huge function for me. We are able to get much tighter of a turn radius than in a traditional truck of this size. The drive experience has been terrific. You can watch our full day video with the trip and see what we felt about the Super Cruise and all of that, because it was really a game changer on the roadways, on the interstates, obviously, and the approved highways, getting from A to B. Very comfortable, smooth ride experience. I think part of it being 9,000 pounds is that smooth ride experience. This does have adaptive air suspension, so when you actually get out of the vehicle, it can lower itself to a more comfortable exit height, which is huge. Obviously, for those people that may struggle to get up into a large lifted truck like this, it will actually lower itself. But that adaptive suspension actually gives you a little bit of extra comfort floating over bumps and things. But I can say, my Lightning has the independent rear suspension, and that gave it a more comfortable experience than a traditional F-150. And yet I do feel like this truck itself has a more comfortable ride experience. Like I said, combination of the weight and that adaptive suspension does give you a lot of functionality when it comes to those things. So yeah, overall, super comfortable drive, very smooth. Sound system works great. A lot of cameras for the rear controls and all of that. What I want to show you next now is we are going to go into the screen setup, and we are going to go into drive modes. All right, so now it's time to enter the mysterious rage mode, or whatever this magic button is. So let us hit it. And now what happens? So we are on a highway. I'm going to slow down, and let's punch it. One,
I wasn't ready for you to do that. I lost my lunch.
one, it has a hell of a punch when you hit the accelerator. It does give you a lot of functionality when it comes to the torque. I mean, obviously with an electric vehicle, this is actually slower to 60 than the Lightning is with our Lariat trim, partially due to the weight. However, in this range mode, you also get that additional sound effect if you can hear, which is cool. The Mach-E has it. The Lightning did not get that that feature where you can, it basically inputs in some engine noise or whatever you want to call that into the system. But the torque and the power of any EV truck is going to be, in my opinion, impressive. But with this one specifically, does have a good punch to it. I think the 0 to 60 is right at 4.5. Still plenty impressive. However, just a cool, comfortable drive experience. And if you want that sportier touch, you can your way onto it. So,
Next time.
So yes, that is all for the Chevy Silverado RST. We're going to execute a tight turn with our four wheels. I just did that in about 20 feet because of how the rear tires work. But yes, this has been a walkthrough tour of the Chevy Silverado RST. Go watch the full day of us taking on a road trip to experience what it's like with the 450-mile range that it features, with the 350 kilowatt charging capabilities that it has, because those things in and of itself make a huge difference. Not necessarily for your local commute, but when you're on a road trip, the charging speed and the range really did make a difference for us in that. So definitely click on the link and go to the video that we just posted in regards to our full day trip with this RST. And huge shout out to Champion Chevrolet for allowing us to take this RST and really take it on a road trip, be able to test out the features and the functionality of it. It's been enjoyable and fun to get into this top trim level of the Chevy Silverado and see what Chevy's brought to the table. And I can say 1 out of 10, I am a 9.9 impressed. They've done a terrific job doing everything. There's, like I said, the couple minor tweaks that I would make, such as for a trim model like this, I might install massage seats. That would be something I would expect of a $96,000 truck. You find that in the GMC. I love the heads-up display, love the rear view mirror, love the Super Cruise. But all things considered, I would give this truck a 2 thumbs up. If you are considering a truck and you have the need for towing or the need for range and you take a lot of road trips, this is a terrific option because you have a ton of range, great charging speed, super comfortable, and just really overall a great truck. So if you have interest in this exact truck or any other Chevy or GMC product, reach out to Champion Chevrolet. They would be happy to take care of you, and we will attach their information in the description below. So like and subscribe to our channel. Tune in for more EV reviews such as this one as we get to it, and also check out our podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to this EV review with Turn Down 4 Watt. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and subscribe for more exciting content. We've got plenty more in store, so stay charged and we'll see you next time.